Hi friends, and welcome back to the Baseball Card Illustrated channel. I'm Bronko, the PSA 11, and this is an extra special edition of the Saturday Shootaround called the Saturday WOOOO-around. As we're going to take a look at a bunch of figures of the real world's champion, Ric Flair. But before we get to that, let me bring in our good friend, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the reason for that is we're getting very close to doing our Austin 316 giveaway. When we hit 316 subscribers to the channel, we're giving away 24 cards to those that have watched that giveaway video, entered the contest, and then we'll do the video and see who wins. And one of the prizes on that particular contest is going to be this, which is a Stone Cold Steve Austin event-worn shirt card. So go ahead, take a moment right now to subscribe to the channel, and that'll give you a chance to be eligible. And then go watch that video, enter the secret mystery word, player name, or phrase that we gave you on that video by March 30th, and you'll be entered for a chance to win when we get to 316 subscribers. Anyway, normally on this series we have a stack of stuff, we hit the record button and we have no idea what's going to happen. That's kind of the case today, but we're going to feature some figures of the real world's champion, Ric Flair. So since it is, as Mean Gene Okerlund used to call it, the Shank of the evening, I should let you know that I've actually taken the time to figure out what that phrase means, because he always said it when introducing the then 13-time WCW Heavyweight Champion of the World, as he called him. So, the Shank of the evening is the latter part of the evening between sunset and dark, or dusk. Okay, that seems legitimate. Another definition, the early or main portion of the evening, and when the Nature Boy was about to hit the screen, it was probably the main portion of the evening, or, most accurately, the third description, the best or most exciting part of something, especially a party held in the evening. If that doesn't describe Ric Flair, I don't know what does. So, let's take a look at some of these figures that I have. We've got 13 of them to basically represent 13-time world champion. I know he was 16 times officially, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 22 unofficially, depending upon how you want to count it. But we've got this figure here. This is a WWE release. I've added a championship belt, and we've got obviously the four, because the Four Horsemen, synonymous with Ric Flair. So I don't have any rhyme or reason for these figures that I picked out of my collection to show off. But we're just going to start going through them, and we'll start with one of the smaller ones. We've got this little number here, and I'm just going to move that one off screen. And I couldn't tell you a whole lot about most of these, to be perfectly honest. I just know that I've collected them. I've added some championship belts to some of them. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just kind of fun to celebrate my favorite wrestler of all time. So here's another of the shorter ones that we have. This I'm pretty sure was a, does it say on the bottom? I want to say this might have been a WCW release, but I think it was actually probably a WWF release. Then here's one that I'm almost positive came from the WWF days for Ric Flair. They don't seem like the old thumb wrestlers that they had way back in the day with the LJN figures that were basically my childhood, my favorite figures back then. If you remember those, they look a little bit like this WCW release, as I'll take these three out of the way here. Kind of like that, a nice plastic one that kind of doesn't stand quite on its own. That's a championship belt that definitely did not come with it, that I've added from some other figure through the years. But these were really durable, and you could wrestle with them and have a lot of fun with them. I know the Ric Flair line of the WCW figures had a number of different Titan boot colorways. I know there was red, green, here's obviously the purple. I think there was one or two others. So I always like this one probably as much as any, because I could use this with my WWF wrestling figures and kind of have a super federation of my own that he was a part of. And we'll go to one of the more, I'd say recent, probably one of the more recent ones of my collection. And this is one here where he looks a little more muscular than I ever remember him being. And he's got some type of pipe that probably came out around the time when he wrestled Vince McMahon at the Royal Rumble. his tights look a little high on him there, or almost kind of like he's wearing some boxers. But, you know, the knee pads here are a little bit better than some of the ones that you see on a lot of the figures, or more representative. This one here is one of the cooler ones, I think, in my opinion, even though it doesn't quite stand without the stand that I've managed to lose. But you kind of see him there in mid-strut. So, you know, if you're a Ric Flair fan, that probably is one that seems to be among the more realistic. It kind of has his body type about right. You got the color combination there that would resemble something he wore. And that's certainly a pose that he would have used at some point during his time, either in the ring, onto the way to the ring, or when talking to Mean Gene. Got a couple here with him wearing some robes, as Ric Flair was known for the robe game. Had by far, in my opinion, the best robes ever in the history of the sport. And this was from the WCW Four Horsemen pack, the 4-pack with Mongo and Chris Benoit and Double A Arn Anderson. And you see there I've added a championship belt that I don't believe was part of that. But this was kind of cool because I think it was the first one I remember, other than maybe an AWA one earlier in the wrestling figure game. But it came with a robe. It obviously has the Nature Boy nickname on the back there. So I've always liked that one. And then here's another one that came with a robe. This was during the WWE era for him. And I'll just move Slick Rick here a little bit. And he obviously grew a little bit in height there during his WWE run. But this is a nice edition of the red robe, and you can see it says Ric Flair, kind of like he wore in 1992 when he was the real world's champion, where it said Ric Flair on the back rather than the Nature Boy nickname. And you can really see the detail here with, you know, some of the artwork and stuff that he would typically have on his robes. So that's a pretty good one as well. I know they have some other really good ones that are more recent that are out there that I do not have. Then we'll go with what I'll call the more formal attire. And I'll just kind of stack a few of these up here. Hopefully they stand. Traditional WWF wrestling figures, they don't quite stand perfectly, dating back to the LJN days. Let's see if I can get that to work here. Well, we're just going to lean them up. I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me try to stand them up all night. So we've got the little pullover. Then you got the more traditional sport coat. Then you've got the, this might have been the first one when he came back to WWE and did the ownership thing, because he kind of had that black leather jacket look. And then this is another one. I don't think that this ever came with the belt. I just gave it to him from somebody else's figure. But he's got the microphone. This kind of seems fitting because, you know, that'd be how you'd kind of see him talking, holding the championship. He's got the suit and tie thing going. Well, not the suit, but shirt and tie, dress pants. So anyway, that's a look at some of the Ric Flair figures in my collection. I do have some others that are still in the packaging and things like that, but wanted to just take a quick look at some of the figures of the real world champion there. Now I want to talk a little bit of cards, because I know some of you are always checking us out for that. That's usually what we're doing here on the Baseball Card Illustrated channel. I want to point out that I've got a holiday friend mail gift exchange package that I finally am going to get to right here. And this comes to us from our good friend Andrew the Master Cards. So we're going to crack this puppy open, take a look at what he sent us. And in opening this off camera, I managed to rip up the note accidentally. So, dear Bronko and Kevin, thanks for all you do. Merry late Christmas also. Sorry this is late. I meant to get it out earlier. Good luck with the future of your channel. Sincerely, Andrew the Master Cards. Well, we've done you one better by opening it very late, as we're trying to, you know, make sure that we're doing these in a fashion in which people are checking out some of them without making a video that's about 3.5 hours of all those. So let's take a look at what he sent us. If you're new to the channel, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. We do wrestling sometimes, like we did tonight. We do baseball, basketball. It's kind of like the Royal Rumble here, where you never know what's going to come down the aisle. So we got some nice cards of Brewers' legendary outfielder, shortstop, two-time MVP, and Hall of Famer Robin Yount. Those are some really nice ones. Thank you very much. And we got his former teammate, the Igniter, Paul Molitor. And then here's a guy that I also like a lot. We got Greg Maddux and a couple 1983 Fleer cards that I don't think I've ever seen those before. Then we have a 1993 Topps card right before he went to the Braves. Going back a little bit further, here's a 1990 edition of Topps. And we've got one of his, probably his first, trying to look at this, first Braves cards. Here is a Stadium Club card. And that almost might be from spring training that year. We got a couple more Greg Maddux cards. I'm a big Greg Maddux fan, so this will be a great addition to the collection. And I also like the next guy here, Barry Bonds, one of the heels of baseball. If you're a wrestling fan sticking around, thank you very much. You'll get that. Got some Pirates stuff, a 1988 card there. I like that a lot. That was the first one of him. Now we're kind of moving into the 1990 set here with these. And we got a 1992 All-Star card. And finally a 1992 Leaf card. So this would have been his final card in a Pirates uniform. So thank you very much, Andrew. And then sometimes we do some more recent stuff. I guess if we're going to do Barry Bonds, got to show you an eBay pickup that I made recently, and that's of Ryan Braun, this Allen and Ginter rookie card from 2007 that's not going to stand up. And then for those of you that like the very modern cards, most recently on the market here, this isn't exactly quite most recent, but very recent. We got a Fernando. I wish it was still a Fernando Tatis rookie card. It's a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. card. Still a junior, so I got that part of it right. But Vladdy Daddy, I think he's poised to have a really big season here in 2021. So I'm trying to stock up on a couple rookie cards of him before the season gets underway and he hits, 280, 290 with 35 home runs and becomes kind of the superstar that a lot of people predict him to be and following that legacy established by his father. Anyway, I'd like to thank you so much for checking out this video, and if you're new again, please hit that subscribe button. Help us get closer to the Austin 316 giveaway, where we'll be giving away this card right here, a event-used shirt card of the Texas Rattlesnake. So on behalf of, well, it can only be one person. On behalf of the Real World's champion, Ric Flair, not to mention Ric Flair, and Ric Flair and the rest of the Horsemen, I'm Bronko, the PSA 11. So long, everybody. You've been watching an extra special edition of the Saturday WOOOO-around here on the Baseball Card Illustrated channel.